Hello from the Miles Queen. I just got back from our trip to Europe. There were 4 people on the airplane, my husband and I, and 2 of our kids. All of us flew business class, United Airlines, Amsterdam to San Francisco, and guess how much we paid? We paid $346 for all of us. And of course, part of this trip was covered with miles. And this is what we're gonna talk about today. But before we start, please do not forget to like this video. All of my friends are like, Marina, tell me how you keep flying business class and paying $20 per flight, $100 per flight. This is going to be my full tutorial, everything I know on collecting miles, and I've been obsessed with miles for years now. And this is one of the reasons I've changed several banks in the past, because I was looking for the credit card that would maximize my earnings in terms of miles. And just a quick note, if you're a business owner and you're still paying for your flights, you have to watch this video up to the very end, because this has to stop. Now, my first business class flight happened in 2018. This is basically when I realized I want to fly business all the time, because we fly transatlantic probably 3 times a year now, and now we have 2 kids. So if I didn't have miles, we would have paid $16,000 per trip, $20,000 per trip, depending on where we're going. The first time we flew business class happened in 2018, and this is one of the things you could try potentially. It's not the best way to fly business, but you could try. You have to know about this thing. So this is called upgrading at the counter. So you come to the airport, you register for your flight, and you ask at the register, are there any upgrades? Sometimes they would tell you you have to ask when you're at the gate. Sometimes they tell you you have to ask on the airplane. For example, Emirates will let you upgrade on the airplane. But the thing is, normally it's not a really good deal. So for example, if you fly Turkish Airlines, the upgrade would cost pretty much the same as you would have paid for business class, so it doesn't make sense. Emirates, still the same thing. I wanted to upgrade from business to first class last year, and they told me the upgrade cost $6,000, and I'm like, no, thank you. But Lufthansa sometimes lets you pay maybe an extra $900 to fly in the business cabin. Compare this to $700 economy class. Again, okay, the numbers that I mentioned here vary by a lot depending on destination, time of your flight, how far in advance you're purchasing the ticket, but I just want you to feel the difference. Economy flight, say San Francisco to Frankfurt, $700. Business class, $4,000, $5,000. But if you upgrade at the counter, you might end up paying $1,700 in total for business class. But there's always a catch, right? Sometimes business class is fully booked and you're left out. This is why I prefer to purchase my flight in miles. Anyways, when we first flew business class in 2018, I documented my journey. Oh my God, it made so much difference, because I arrived at the destination having slept for 8 hours, well fed, well rested, barely had jet lag because the journey was so smooth. And I told myself, Marina, from now on, transatlantic flight, business class. I don't care how you do it. You try to make more money, you try different things, but you have to fly business. And this is how I started learning about miles, about collecting miles. And by the way, I'm mostly focusing on more expensive flights in this video, meaning transatlantic flights, meaning flights from San Francisco to New York, so something where business class really makes a difference. So I started learning about collecting miles. Before I go ahead and tell you everything about collecting and earning miles, I just want to address some comments I got on my video where I shared that we paid $16 for my business class flight with my kids. People were calling this tax evasion. Now, I am not a CPA. Please consult a professional. But what my CPA told me is that when you use miles earned on your credit card, even if it's your business's credit card, those miles, you can use them for your personal trips, you can use them for your business trips, doesn't matter. They are not taxed. But if you are getting a new card from a bank, and a lot of banks do that, they tell you, get a new card, spend $1,000 in the next 30 days and you will get 80,000 miles as a gift. Now that gift is taxable. The bank will probably send you a 1099, so you'll have to report it and go through the whole process. Just, and I'm talking about the US, and again, please consult your CPA. Do not quote me on this, but this is what my CPA told me. So this is not tax evasion, because people went crazy in the comment section. I know in some countries this might be tax evasion, but in the US, you should be fine. But again, consult a professional. Some people also complained that you either have to be a millionaire or own a huge business to be able to collect so many miles. I will say you have to have certain type of expenses, but by no means you have to be a millionaire or spend millions of dollars. You have to have the right credit card and you have to know how to spend your miles wisely. And I'm gonna give you an example. Let's pretend that you just got a credit card from a certain bank and they gave you 80,000 miles for free and you were able to get 30,000 miles by spending money on certain categories that got you miles. And you end up with 110,000 miles. The bank will give you several options on how to spend those miles. And I'm gonna show you my screen. I'm gonna show you my bank. We're gonna move to a new mic, so the sound will be slightly different. So here we go. 36,000 miles is what I have left after a trip from Amsterdam to San Francisco. And see what happens here. They offer me to redeem those miles into a gift card, which basically means that for 100 miles or points, what they call them in the system, I will get $1. All right, that's one of the options. Now, other things you could do is book a hotel. Okay, let's see what they offer. Now, if you try to book through their portal, suddenly your miles or points are worth more. Basically, for 36,000, I will get around 450 bucks, which means that now $1 is worth 80 miles, which is 20% cheaper. Great, but it's still not how you use your miles. They're gonna give you a lot of different options how to spend your miles, but all of these options are not worth it because I'm gonna show you something. All right, here we go. So we're gonna look for a flight from Amsterdam to San Francisco. Let's do, I don't know, 026, one adult book with miles, very important. So you see the prices right here. 126,000 miles for a non-stop flight plus $84. Now the price depends on how busy the flight is, how far in advance you book, on the season, because in August we flew the same route but for 88,000 miles per trip. Now if you look, it's 153, 126. You can actually do their 30-day calendar and check. See how the prices vary. So always look for the best deal. See, they even have 88K here. This is the deal we got. Let's just look at an average, right? 126,000 miles. Let's calculate how much this is worth in dollars. Now I'm writing this down, 186,000 miles plus $84 roughly. Now let's look how much it costs in dollars, right? So we are gonna do business. We're not gonna do book with miles, and we're gonna do one way. That's it. Let's see how much it is in money. In money, this is $5,709. So the calculation is as follows. We're gonna 5,709 minus $84. Let's just be precise. So this is the price in dollars because we pay $84 in tax and fees if we pay miles. So we are converting our 126,000.1 miles, right, into 5,625. Now that means 126 divided by 5,625 equals 22 miles for your dollar. Now, remember we're talking about 100 miles per dollar, 80 miles per dollar. Now here we only pay 22 miles per dollar. If this is not convincing, I don't know what is. This is the best way to spend your miles if you want to travel business class almost for free. So United will be one of the best airlines in terms of deals that you can get for your miles. Emirates is also another good option. What I've actually seen last year is that their first class was 110,000 miles, and in reality it cost $11,000. But with first class, business class is easier. With first class, especially with airlines like Singapore, Emirates, with these luxurious airlines, they're really like the seats that you can purchase for miles are really limited. So just keep an eye on them. And in terms of the worst deals I got when transferring to airlines was actually with JetBlue. I remember paying 250,000 miles for a business class flight from San Francisco to New York. That was super dumb of me, and I should have flown economy. So this is something you should really keep in mind. When people tell you you have to be a millionaire in terms of miles to fly business, no, you just have to know how to spend them wisely. And I've shown you an example, right? Sometimes they would also offer you to stay in a hotel using your miles. Hyatt Regency Miami, for example, $12,000 a night. And if you pay in dollars, that's $250 a night. Doesn't make sense to spend your miles. At least in my case, if you do transatlantic flights, spending miles on hotels doesn't make sense. Now, we've talked about taxes, we've talked about spending miles, we've talked about getting miles gifted by your bank. One last thing before we get into accruing miles. One last thing I wanted to show you. Travel partners. The airlines, you have almost every airline here. You have Air Canada, Air France, KLM, British Airways, Emirates, Iberia, JetBlue, Singapore, Southwest, all of them. One thing, you don't have American Airlines. They have their own special credit card. I'm showing you Chase Portal. For American Airlines, the trick is to go through their partner airlines. So for example, British Airways, they're the same alliance, and sometimes you can go on British Airways website, find a flight that's operated by American, transfer points to British Airways, and purchase an American Airlines flight. Just a small trick. I just wanted to share this. Now let's talk about accruing miles. Let's talk about collecting miles. I'm gonna show you what's going on with my account. The best credit cards for me are Chase credit cards. For my personal credit card, I have Chase Sapphire. The annual fee is huge, but there are so many benefits that I end up getting all of it back. With Chase Business Inc., pretty much the same. So here, now, if you're an entrepreneur, you're gonna love it. You get 3x points on shipping purchases, advertising purchases. Basically, if you invest in Facebook ads, in Instagram ads, in YouTube ads, in Google ads, well, we do a lot. You get triple points for that. So if you spend $1,000 on ads, you get 3,000 miles. And this happens up to $150,000 a year. If you have more in those expenses, you need to get several credit cards in different people's names in your company and just switch expenses from one credit card to another. Internet, cable phone, and travel. Magic, right? If you're a business owner, you probably travel for business, you probably have a lot of marketing expenses, and this is triple points. Right now, they're offering 100,000 bonus points if you just sign up for the card. And this is not sponsored by Chase. I'm just on their website exploring credit cards. 100,000 bonus points is your free trip to Europe, right here, business class. And then 5x points on Lyft rides, employee cards. This is the card that we use for all of our businesses. Then another card that I would recommend for Chase Sapphire for your personal expenses is Chase Sapphire. So here you get 60,000 bonus points, almost a free trip to Europe right here, like worth $4,000, right? And then you learn more. It's $550 annual fee, a lot. But the thing is, they give you $300 cash back on your travel. So when you book a Lyft and Uber, a flight with this card, you get $300 back. So $250 left that you pay in your annual fee. Then you get 10x points on hotels and cars. You get 3x points at restaurants, takeout, etc. And then they have additional perks. I use DoorDash DashPass subscription. It helps me save a lot on restaurant deliveries. I use Instacart membership. I use Priority Pass. This is like your access to business lounges. By the way, business lounges in the US, well, depending on the airport, but normally they're not worth it. The only one that I really like is at San Francisco Airport, United Airlines Lounge. In Europe, there is so much better. The best are in London. They're like top of the top. Singapore was great as well. And you can get into them for free if you have this card. and then Lyft membership. This is something that I use. Now let's look at my reward activity. I'm gonna show you how we earn those miles. So I just purchased a course at Stanford, and with my card, because I'm doing this for my business. This is my business card, 455 points. We pay for Notion, 81 points / miles. Now, this is my favorite part, Facebook ads. We spent $900, but we got 2,700 points because what? Triple points. Now, this is something I bought in Amsterdam hotel. I think it was breakfast. And I got triple points for that. Uber, my trip from the airport, $21, but I got triple points. Hotel in Paris, hotel, 192, but I got 600 points. See what I'm getting at? Your qualified business expenses make you miles that you can use for your personal trips or for your business trips. Your personal expenses make you miles. One thing to note, you have to be careful with money. So if you have a credit card, you have to be very responsible about your payments, because otherwise this all doesn't make sense if you end up overpaying interest. I'm going to leave the links to my credit cards down below. They are affiliate links. If you want to thank me for this video, please use them. If you don't want to thank me for that video, just go ahead and find those cards online. And again, do your own research depending on your preferences, which banks you like more, which deal is the best for you, depending on the airline. Maybe you prefer certain airlines, maybe you just want to accrue as many miles as possible. But the links are down in the description. Now that was it from me for today. If you have any additions to that, if you have any other tips or tricks or whatever, please comment down below. Let's make this a community board for all of your life hacks for collecting and spending your miles. Again, regarding taxes, please consult with your tax professional and enjoy business class that's almost free. I hope that was useful. Please follow me on Instagram, Lingua Marina, to see our future trips booked with miles. And subscribe to this channel.